All right. So AI voice recognition, I'm cautious anything AI now. There is a concept called, and this is really applicable to finance, Amara's law. We tend to overestimate the effect of a technology in the short run and underestimate the effect in the long run. Key point, internet. In the short run, you had the .com boom, where anybody doing anything internet got millions. This is before they get billions, but millions of dollars in investment, which they then proceeded to buy lavish luxury office chairs and all kinds of things, and didn't make any money, but it didn't matter because it was internet, because they overestimated in the short term that, pets.com or any other company, like a lot of companies back in the .com era, pets.com or MSTR, they all did things, back in back in 2000. Back in 2000, everyone just threw money at this thing. And there were certain people that ran companies that took advantage of this to pump their companies up to wild valuations and then proceed to destroy tons and tons of capital. That was 25 years ago. People overestimated technology in the short run and they underestimated in the long run. In other words, the internet, hey, we're talking on it right now. Like I remember watching like Star Trek, you had the view screen, you'd be able to see people in the future, but here we are basically. So, but it kind of goes a very circuitous route and you don't know which company is actually going to do it. But when you see a stock or something like this that goes up like this, and then they get charged by the SEC with accounting fraud, then you know that there wasn't anything there, and hopefully you don't trust that person with your money again in the future. But yeah, we underestimate the long-term effects of it, and sometimes people forget. People forget that lesson about Amara's law, where we tend to overestimate it in the short term and underestimate it in the long term. And so yeah, that's with AI. This is not about this. This is about AI. AI is, we all kind of know and agree that it's going to like change our lives. We're not really sure how. And so the companies that are going to do it, they're going to be around for a long time. And the really quintessential example of this is Amazon that I go up to, because Amazon was part of this whole, it was part of the .com. They sold books. Like, who the hell's going to buy books on the internet? We got Barnes and Noble. By the way, false breakout. But you could have held it from the high all the way down to here for 95%. Okay. A 95% pullback on Amazon back in the .com boom, but it was still internet. Okay. And if you held on to it, you would have been pretty good. Or if you bought the high eventually, a decade later, you would have been back to break even. And then now you'd be like really, really happy. But the point here is this: the good companies that actually do something, they're going to stick around, and there's going to be signs that they're going to be good investments. You don't have to get in at the bottom. It's been my lesson for the last several years when I do these live streams. When I talk about, back in 2021, when everybody was trying to get in on the blockchain stuff, or even in pot stocks. I'm almost 2 hours in. We got to talk about pot stocks, and we got to talk about the weed industry next week. Actually, hold on. Thanks for hanging out with me, guys. By the way, for this long. But normally I only go for an hour. But like I said, I got 3 weeks to build into here. But yeah, you don't have to get in at the bottom like a lot of people think. You don't have to FOMO. Like, you could have gotten in at Amazon back in 2020, 2001, 2006. Probably a good time to get into it would have been 2008, because by that time they were doing, pretty obviously, like at the bottom of 2008, you could have, or in 2010, or in 2012, or in 2013, blah, 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 blah. Or my favorite time to get into Amazon bigly was what I called the trade of the century, which was for no reason. I mean, as I've said, my fiance, like every day is a new Amazon package. She's going to keep them in business. That's for damn sure. In 2023, Amazon, for no good reason, pulled back to the 50% level for its entire history, going all the way back to 2001. 20 plus year, 50% level, 94.47. I put on the blue light, not the red light. Stop. I was like, this is the trade of the century. Literally 25 years, 23 years, 22. And from that point, 2 decades after the company came out, you now have doubled your money in, a year or two. Now, yeah, you could have tripled it, you could have quadrupled, you could have 10x, but there's always going to be opportunity in good companies eventually. Just, you don't have to like rush into it. You can, but you're going to take some pain. So